Zion. So after having explained, and again, this is all to explain Esther, the name Hadasah, and the various questions raised at the beginning of the Maamar as to which is the primary name, and the diukim and the Gemara and the Psukim. So the explanation of Chassidus, and we'll revisit the questions when we review the Maamar, is that Esther Hadasah is Malchus, which is Knesset Yisrael, Yidden Neshamis. And there are two levels, Pnimius and Chitzonius, or Ponim and Ocher, or Etzem and Ispashtus. Namely, the way Malchus, the most simple, obvious depiction or expression of all of this is Malchus' way. The Malchus is in Atzilus, that's Hadasah. He explained the diak of Hadasah, Hey Daled Samach, and the Hey Hadasah. This is all explained at the beginning. I won't repeat it now, but just get the general idea. And then there's Malchus, as Malchus descends into creation, to create, invested in creation, and that's Esther. There were many diukim. Now, the good part of the Maamar went to reveal and be mamshech the core essence of the neshama, which is its pnimius, and that is, as he explained, atik of Adam Kadman. I think I said atik of Arach yesterday, but atik of Adam Kadman. We explained yesterday what atik means. It's the essential level of alikus, and the ocher, the external level, starts with yichide, chamisha shemes nikrula, that she has the neshama 5 names, and the name is chitzonius, relative to the guf, or the body of the self. So that's the level of ocher. So this is all explained at great length and big chidushim in the Maamar, as he explains level after level that cryptic source in h'tשכ that describes the neshama. But then he began, and then he began to explain in avodah, in avodas ha'adam. In avodas ha'adam, so the first level, the level of ocher, the chitzonius, as it were, is the 2 levels of v'chol levavcha, v'chol nafshecha, which we explained in general refers to, and is in his bonus in mamala kalalmin, and then sevev kalalmin, engendering these 2 kinds of love, v'chol levavcha, and then v'chol nafshecha, as we explained yesterday. And then there is the Isbonenus, which he later qualified not as an Isbonenus, because B'chol Ma'itcha is the Hakora, as we learned at the end of yesterday's us, the Hakora, the recognition, as it were, for want of a better word, that comes from what level of the neshama? Somebody, he identified it with some cryptic words, 3 words. The end of the ois. That's right. Das hanelam shebenefesh, and we explained the diak of das. Das means, as in va'adam yoda es chava, becoming mamish one with that which one is connecting to. And so das is rooted in the etzem and neshama, which is one with the Eibishter, as explained in the Maamar till now. The etzem is the nitzitz cotton boyer, in the words of the h'tשכ, again, which is the level of atik of Adam Kadman. So that's the das nelem shebenefesh. That's the, and from there comes the hakora, this intuitive, essential connection that a yid has with the Eibishter. Ben gimel shonim hiker Avraham es borei. We explained yesterday that this childish connection is really the deepest connection. The 3 days in the Medrash as to when Avraham recognized God, they're not in dispute, not machlekes, at different stages in his relationship. But the deepest is really the childish connection, which is beyond seichel. There's a whole arichas in this yesterday, which you won't repeat. So this is the 3rd level of b'chol ma'itcha. So that's what we're up to. Zion. והנה כל זה בזמן שבית המקדש היה קיים. So this is all when the Beis Hamikdash existed. Then godliness was revealed. And I will, double expression of Hester on that day, as is known, the general diuk of the double expression of Hester. Anybody? One level of concealment means one thing, but Haster, Astir is something else altogether. Right, right. Exactly. So the first level is it's a helm, concealment, but he knows there's light on the other side, and he knows he's in a matzav of concealment and seeks to extract himself. Astir, that the concealment itself becomes the reality, the light even. Doesn't even know there's something else, that he could be something else, or he gave up on it. Hainu, so what's Golos? Interestingly enough, he's saying that Golus doesn't affect so much the two levels of love. That's still shaykh, interestingly enough. But the third level that he said, it's important to point out, the third level he said is given as a matana as a result of the avodah, of the conscious avodah of Elikus fills me and Elikus inspires me. It fills me, it lifts me. So then, as a matana, the etzem and neshama is unlocked, was granted to a yid. B'nzman hagolos, loy noistim ilamayla. So I'm just going to I'm going to change what I just said. If it's not give milamayla, implicit this, because the avodah b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha is missing. I just started saying the opposite, but upon reflection, it comes as a matana as a result of b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha. And since we don't have this isboninus, that's because the likus is not revealed in such a fulfilling and inspiring way. We have questions and helamas vestadim and this yonis. So therefore, we don't have this matana that comes as a result of b'chol v'chol nafshecha. So I'm changing that. We're clear? But let's see what the Maimon says. Fasibel is the reason b'pnei hayois pnimius nafshe b'ofen shel hester astir. Because the pnimius haneshama is the state of utter concealment. Shehu inyan golu lebavel, golu le'elam, v'golu le'edoim. This is describing, it's a medrash describing the various golusen of Eden, the koila yiride bin yonei ha'elam. Befrat b'tayvus elam hazeh. He mentions three here. It could be Gimel Klippus Atmeis, I don't know. Very possible. So this is the descent in Yonei Olam, and especially there's in Yonei Olam, but Lav Dafke Tayvus Elam Hazeh. The greater descent is Tayvus Elam Hazeh, in strong words here. Ache Toifes called Etzem Nafshe. It grasps his very being. In Yiddish, the original Yiddish of the Maimer, es nimmt arum dem ganzen Etzem Shaloi. He's completely immersed. That's because, what do you want from the Yid that was defending us? There's no Gilul Likus. We don't see godliness. We're missing seeing, Vasaga, Baneshama, and the Neshama's understanding. Yeah. Meliovאוויטש, Beguf, Regel Beneshama. Yeah, okay, so we're missing the first two levels. He's not seeing godliness, and therefore he doesn't have b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha. But yedei ze nase gam ba'inyan da haster es panai b'negei letzam neshama. So the first two levels are not firing, So the etzem and the neshama is certainly not revealed. If his avodah was engaging his conscious levels of the neshama, which he calls b'chinas regel, that's the level of Yaakov, the level of neshama that descends into the guf, seichel, midas. In general, it's the three levels of nefesh, ruach, neshama. So if that would be b'shleimus, so lo hayochalis b'mayim d'matzav shel hester astir b'negiyah letzem neshama. If he was opening up his mind and his heart, then the etzem would find a place to reside, Pashit. And Hashem can grant him his own etzem and neshama because he's open to it. His mind is engaged in godliness, and he's fulfilled in his heart, his seichel, his midas. But it's not so. Behind the Moishe etzem and neshama, now comes a very important nekuda to try and understand. I just glanced at it, we'll learn it together. So even though, so what's the matziv? The matziv is not his mind, not his heart, it's blocked. Because the mind and heart is blocked, not open, not developed, so the etzem neshama remains concealed. Haster ashtir. Eloho nisha behelem, it remains concealed. However, in helem zeh k'moisha etzem hula atzmai, this concealment doesn't mean it disappears. It means that the etzem remains in his own world. So b'chinas helem be'etzem, aval ein ze inyan shal hester, but it's not concealed b'v'adai she'ein ze haster aster. So what's he saying now?
Yes.
Now this is all in the Shleimus Avodah. What?
The Zion now.
Now just 1 second. I'm going to get concluding. Let's read the finish. But when he's missing, so what he's saying in the square brackets is, the square brackets was dealing in a matzav where the avodah is b'shleimus. Namely, he has the avodah of what? Of seichel and midas. That's the regel sebun neshama. So he said before the square brackets, then you're not going to have the matzav of concealment of etzem and neshama. Now, even though it's always going to be concealed because the etzem and neshama, right? Etzem built in this gala, basically. So he says that's not concealment. That's not hesed. It just means that its very nature is essential. But it's not a state of concealment. Adarabah, this is given to the person. We just look at the brackets again and see if we're learning this right. Even though etzem neshama cannot be revealed like begoloi, like the levels of the regel and neshama, which is what seichel and midas, but etzem by definition remains behelem. Okay, so let's put this in simple language. What is the etzem and neshama? The etzem and neshama defies all description as we learned earlier. It's beyond. What is it? It's the I am a yid. So this I am a yid always remains behelem, be'etzem, meaning to say defying description. But it's working through him, and it's he's granted this connection. It's not a state of concealment. He's just pointing out the nature of etzem is that it's not like it's internalized by the conscious levels of the neshama. You can't explain and define what does it mean I'm a yid, but it's in a state of effect, and it drives him. And this hakodah in the etzem of olikus he has. But it's an essential hakodah. Go explain it, you can't. You're like a child. The child's hakodah and elikus is revealed and not revealed. Revealed in as much that there's no questions. Adarabah. That's because it's completely beyond seichel, beyond question, beyond intellectual analysis. That's that. So then, in that sense, it's concealed because it can't be expressed. That's its revelation. It's simplistic revelation. That's what he means in the brackets. And Yochalova begilu k'may b'chinas hakosh v'neshama means that the etzem and neshama, this hakara likus, cannot be expressed in seichel and midas and defined, and in this conscious way, like the intellect and emotion works. It's beyond that. But when a person has the avodah b'chol nafshecha, this level is b'hakara. It's revealed in quotations, meaning to say it's what defines him. Again, like the child's emunah, revealed, but not revealed in consciousness, as in seichel l'midas, just pure etzem and neshama. That's what I'm trying to say. Not filtered. It's revealed, but completely unfiltered by consciousness. Meaning to say, seichel and midas, rationalization, described as a particular feeling. It's beyond love. It's beyond yira. It's etzem and neshama. I'm a yid. And again, a child, ben gimel shalim, he could ask, "But you see this in a child?" So he pointed out yesterday. It's a point to appreciate. You would think that the subject of God is the last thing we talk to a child about. Like we even say God, Hashem. And yet it's the easiest subject. And there's no discussion. And then the child responds. There's no this is mamish, it's beyond gilui. It just is. Why? Because the child has an neshama and hasn't been encrusted yet by the taivas elam hazeh and the yedida. And so it's just simply and fluidly expressed, but not begilui in terms of in consciousness and in mind. But when we're missing, concluding the paragraph, we're not opening up the mind and heart. This is already now as adults. It's required that in order for the etzem and neshama for us to be revealed, we've got to open the doors to it. And the doors are our mind and our hearts. Avodah, refinement, edelkeit. That I've been saying we don't because we're uninspired, because godliness is not apprehensible, we don't see. So the maim, the matzah of golos, as a yochel liyos, shegam be'etzem and neshama ti b'maim the matzah the haster ponai, that he's pashat not in touch, God forbid, with his etzem and neshama. Yeah, we're somewhat clear. Meandered a bit, but I think we're on track. Okay, oisches. Omnam adain tzarich lahovin shari yedua mavur bekama mekem is good l'mailis avodah bezman hagolas dafke. It's explained in other places the greatness of the avodah dafke zman hagolas. That's when the etzem and neshama comes to bear, right? Because if you don't have seichel, we don't understand, we don't feel. So what's left? I'm a yid. Adarab. That's when the etzem is expressed. Al derech shemitzina b'David, like we find with David the Melech, shedavke b'Yosef b'Yehuda, when he was in the desert. And the spirit means here the spiritual desert, Beretz sea of Oyev, and the thirsty and tired land. So what did he say? Tzom alachan nafshi. My soul thirsts for you, my flesh longs for you. So much so deep is this longing for the Eibishter. The pasuk goes on to say, so the simple meaning is so do I seek to behold you in holiness. This is David the Melech was fleeing for his life, and he was pining for the Mishkan, for the Kodesh, where I could behold you. That's a simple meaning. Baal Shem Tov teaches, the Kain here means Halavai B'Kodesh. Halavai, when I'm there, bisman habayis in the Beis Hamikdash, chazisicha, I should behold you, ba'ofen ha'avodah bisman ha'golus, in the way that I connect to you now in my longing for you. So the Rebbe is asking here, we're saying that bisman ha'golus could be what?
Yes.
On the etzem on the shom, adarab, that's the kavan of golus, the mile of golus. That's with etzem. What's left is Jew, the Mesiras Nefesh that Yidden displayed, and so on, and the longing, as we learned, to being strong theme in the Maimarim.
Like the recent Hayom Yom.
Yeah, which is what?
That when Mashiach comes, we're going to in the times we're banking we're gonna long the time that these days when there wasn't Yiddish wasn't Getlachkeit in the Goloi,
Right,
and we still did it.
right. So that all points to the Ma'irvas Managolas. And furthermore, Kameikin, he said, B'midrash Chazal. So it says in Medrash, is Lashon Rabbim here. Let me just see who's pointing to. The only source is the Zohar. That's interesting. Shegam kasher ani yishena begolut. The pasuk says in Shir Hashirim, I am asleep, but my heart is awake. So it says the Zohar, my heart is asleep, begolus in golus. Nonetheless, the Zohar explains, libi eid, my heart is awake. What's the heart? Varaya inyan halevu pnimis haneshama adarabah. That's the b'chol ma'itcha. That's the pnimis haneshama. The etzem haneshama is keiches hagiloyim, not. Again, but what's left? The raw, essential yid. L'chayda, and the question is, Eize yasim, how does this then accord? How does this not accord? How does this, huh? Yeah.
Fit.
Yeah. Another word escapes me. That which you just said, Shebizman hagolos nemar v'anoichi haster espanai. That is
reconcile,
yeah. Yeah. That the pnimis is concealed. Pnimis and Hashem be'ofen shel hester aster. Gewaltige Scheile. You know, it always amazes me to put in my morim. It's my observation. The put in my morim are very deep and avoida haskola. Just put him in the Lubavitch is it's an under. I mean, everything is an under, quote unquote, different. But what? This is Purim the Fabrengen at the end of Purim, the Suda. Yeah, at night. But this was the Adalayada of Purim. This is when it took place, and sometimes Begashmius by the Rebbe himself. It happened more than once, most notably Tafshin Chai, but you hear in the early years. And the Maimon Purim Tafshin Chai, the Rebbe did not remember. We learned that. We should have to learn it again. The 8th. So it's just, and if you hear the Fabrengen, it's mind blowing. And that ever speaks. Purim Tafshin Chai, I've heard it many times. That this is beyond astounding. The Rebbe came to the Fabrengen already. You can hear in his voice, but the Rebbe said later he already had a complete bottle of Benedictine before the Fabrengen with the Suda with the Rebbe, and he had another one in front of everybody. You can hear in the voice, but if you read the transcript, you wouldn't know, except it's very rich and very personal, and a person wouldn't know. If you hear, and if you know that Rebbe's style, the way he talks, it's such language, but didn't know anything. But the mind for sure that it's just. Since I'm talking in those days, it's a mighty good thing. In those, I don't know if I've said this before, in the early years in the Yuds, one of the great revolutions of the Rebbe is that he made women chassidim. We quoted that beautiful word. So the early years, every Fabrengen, and I don't can pinpoint, but in the Yuds, the last sikha was about the Maila of the Sheikh B'nai Yisrael. Kimat, so the big Fabrengens. And then, according to Fabrengen, also the end Rebbe made an appeal for certain Magbis, certain Keren, in the Rebbe state. You see, Mamash can hardly speak. The words are coming out so slow. You just hear it. And you think it's, and things were said in between to people that were so out of character and so, I have no words for it, but personal and warm and like humor in it. The Rebbe didn't miss a beat. It was that sikh about the Malan Sheb B'nai Yisrael, and then there was the Magbis and Baruch Achroina, and it just everything at the end of the Fabrengen was.
Maybe we should learn the whole Fabrengen.
It's something, I'm telling you. Maybe we should.
We did the minor.
We did the Maimon and then listen to it. Once you've heard it, listen to it. Yeah, okay, it's one of the many things. Maybe we should do Purim. Purim itself. I actually had another idea. Wouldn't it be wonderful? We're going to finish this before Purim. If someone would chazah this Maimon Purim, I'm talking Purim at the end of the day, wherever you're going to be, we shall meet here at a certain time. The Sudi is very early, 4 o'clock. There's still plenty of time. And someone should undertake the chazah this Maimon. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Yeah, this one we let now. Which we're going to finish. We're almost done. Almost finished. What? Don't all jump at once. Okay, let's go further. Wouldn't that be important to remember? I can tell you this much, that whoever undertakes this, it will be a game changer for you. First of all, to have a maimon in your head, to know a whole maimon, that's it. And then on Purim to say it, be a different Purim and a different everything. Live with the maimon. You'll sit with Chazan the maimon 100 times. 100 times. That no one's saying, so Rabbi, you chazed the maimon. I'll tell you what, they're throwing down the gauntlet. If somebes chazes it, then I'll chazed it too afterwards. You tell me you're doing it, I'll make it my business to do it as well. Maybe not then, at some other time, but just I'll should some other time. See, it's 2 for 1. Okay, think about it. Okay, so Hachinyan Hota, what tomorrow? Tomorrow is what? Thursday, good. So everybody's still basically here. Because I'm just looking ahead, a mighty big answer, very deep answer. Oiran Neshama, Koyach Neshama. The Hester is on the Oimen, on the Koyach. What does Koyach mean? That's such a scholar. A scholar, but dealing with the most core issue. The Etzem Neshama, I mean, okay. Gentlemen, to be seen tomorrow.